Welcome to Retirement with Jim. So today, did COVID teach you anything about, before we go any further, if you like my channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, it helps the channel grow. And along with that, leave comments. Love to hear what you're thinking. So let's get started. So did COVID teach you anything about being able to live and spend 24 hours a day with your spouse, your significant other? Um, because many people find that they have lived their lives and came time to retire. One of the things that a lot of times that people are not so great at being prepared for is being around each other 24/7. Now, for my wife and I, COVID showed us that we had really no issues. We were able to be together and 24 hours a day, and we really had no issues. We'd go walking, out, by ourselves, of course, and then just staying in, while all of that happened. We were actually a-okay. We found things, to do, and some interesting things to do at home, and either online or watching TV, enjoying things, but we really didn't have any kind of issues. Now, we were lucky to some degree. Part of that was when the company I worked for, I was out of work for over 3 months, 3.5 months, and I got paid the whole time, and they took care of my health insurance the whole time, and they continued to contribute to my 401k. So it was just like I was on a 3.5 month vacation. So I couldn't say enough good things about the company I worked for. They did a fantastic job with their employees and taking care of them, and that was wonderful. Excuse me. One less stressor you'd have to deal with in terms of besides dealing with COVID. So it really did teach us that when it came time to retire, we did not feel like we were going to have any kind of issues. But for plenty of people, COVID might have showed them that, oh my God, I can't put up with my wife, or I can't put up with my husband. And, it was a real awakening for some people that, that they suddenly had to spend 24/7. So you got to think about that when you're getting ready to retire. Are you prepared enough, or do you, before you retire, you need to kind of do a relationship reboot where you really sit down with your significant other and talk about what you expect and what life is going to be once one of you retires. For me, my wife had retired right before the pandemic. She got out, didn't want to do it anymore, and it was kind of perfect timing. Now, it's just the two of us, of course, and we don't have any animals, so it's just keeping up after each other, after the house. So, there are things that, I always let my wife do and always did. There are some things she prefers to do. So we kind of figured those things out, and over time, I have adjusted to doing more of my fair share. It is my house as well as hers. So it's only fair that I don't leave all of the household chores just to my wife. I don't cook. Never was a cook, but I'm good at cleaning up, and so I'm good at making the bed. Usually, because I'm the last one out of the bed. So she's up earlier than me. I used to always have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning every single day to go to work. So when I retired, I looked forward to, I'm not getting up early. And so she is up earlier than me all the time. And so with that, I'm like, okay, I'll make the bed when I get out of bed, But there are things that, we have now split the duties on, which makes that, a lot more doable. Let's face it, in a male dominant society, we as men, look at some of those chores as just that, chores that women do. And today's world is, of course, far different. So it really takes that. You got to have that conversation. You got to talk about everything. Are you prepared? I dealt with like 50 people who worked for me. I gave orders to those 50 people all the time. Giving orders to one person, my wife, wasn't going to work. That was not going to be a doable situation. So we had to meet a common ground in the middle. And the same held true for my sarcasm. I am a sarcastic son of a gun. That I always use sarcasm as humor, and sometimes that may not go over well with my wife. So again, I have to think about those things and make sure I'm doing the right thing by her. But if anything, COVID should have taught you some of those lessons about, oh, can I do this? Is this a doable thing? Or do I have to make some adjustments in, what I'm doing or how I'm doing it? Because let's face it, you take that journey together. You're both retiring, whether it's, your husband or your wife or your significant other. If they're not married, you gotta have an open relationship in terms of talking to one another so that you know that it's all going to work out okay. Because it's amazing. Some people just suddenly find that they're not compatible anymore. They spent their entire time working and creating that work ID, and once they retire, they don't know who they are. And it's amazing that the amount of people over 50 who have gotten divorced, that stat is way up there. So it's just something to think about, because suddenly people find they don't have as much in common anymore because they were always so busy with their work life that when it came time to retire, and maybe they didn't plan enough for what they wanted to do, and it wasn't a conversation that they both partook in, that suddenly they're now going down the road of getting divorced, looking for a lawyer, and time to go their separate ways after all those years. And sometimes that might be the best thing, but a lot of times it just comes down to communication. Are you preparing? Are you having those conversations? Because if you are, then you're going to be okay. You're going to do fine. So let me know what you think. Let me know how you fared during COVID. Did you survive it okay, or did you get along each other's nerves a little bit? What transpired there? And is it something that was able to help you with looking at retirement to know whether you're okay or going to be okay? Let me know in the comments below. So with that, I'm going to tell you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.